Hi, fourth grade. Thanks for watching. This is Better Call Mr. Rosenthal. Today we're going to be talking about writing paragraphs. But first, we have another Dragon Ticket challenge. If you answer this riddle correctly, you will receive a dragon ticket. What is at the end of a rainbow? I look forward to hearing your responses at school. But let's get started talking about paragraphing. I'm going to read to you a passage, and I want you to pay attention to the paragraphs. Remember, a paragraph is a group of sentences that tell about one thing. You might remember this. This is from the text we read in class called Li Bing and the Flooding. But remember, your job is to listen carefully and pay attention to the paragraphs. These paragraphs are right here. You can see the groups of sentences talking about one topic. I will read to you. Li Bing and the Flooding. A very long time ago, there were people who lived along a river in China. The river was named the Min River. There was a problem with the Min River. The people who lived along it were scared of it because it would overflow. This happened once a year, every year. When the river overflowed, water would flood the people's homes, and everything would get wet. This was a very bad thing for the people who lived along the Min River. It was a big problem. So some of the people got together and started to think about how they could fix it. Eventually, the governor of the people got involved. His name was Li Bing, and he was very smart. Li Bing investigated the problem. To investigate a problem means to study it carefully and learn as much as possible. Li Bing found out that the problem of the flooding river started up in the mountains. The tops of the mountains were very high up in the sky, where it was very cold. When it was wintertime, it would get so cold that the tops of the mountains would become covered in snow. When springtime came, all the snow would melt. When snow melts, it turns into water. The problem was that the melted water would fall down the mountains and go into the Min River. This is why it would overflow and flood people's homes. Okay, guys, so that's the first page of the article. And your job was to pay attention to how the paragraphs were formed, right? I want you to think for a moment about this question. How do authors decide when to start and stop paragraphs? You can answer this question on the Google form that's attached to this assignment in your Google Classroom. It looks like this right here. So you'll enter your name and class and then work on this first question. How do authors decide when to start and stop paragraphs? Don't submit the form yet because you've got more work to do. Take a moment now to answer that question. When you're ready, you can start the video up again. Okay, let's talk about what a paragraph is. The first sentence of a paragraph is usually called the topic sentence. It draws the reader in and helps them think about the general idea. Then the writer zooms in and provides some details that support the topic sentence in the body of the paragraph. Finally, the author zooms back out with a general statement that ties the details together and touches back on the topic sentence or transitions or gets ready for the next idea in the essay. Let's look at the paragraphs from Li Bing and the Flooding and see if we can understand which sentences do what in the paragraph. Remember that in nonfiction paragraphs, writers usually begin a new paragraph to show the reader that there's a change in the subject or topic. Paragraphs don't always fit this structure, but it's a good way to think about them as we're beginning writers. Okay. So I've set out a little code to look at these paragraph sentences. We're going to look at the second paragraph here on this page that starts out, there was a problem with the Min River. I've put an orange box around the topic sentence, a green line underneath the supporting detail, and a checkered purple line underneath the summary or transition sentences. Right? So take a look at this. The topic sentence was there was a problem with the Min River. All the sentences in underlying green support the idea that there was a problem with the Min River. The people People who lived along it were scared. It happened once a year. And when the river overflowed, water would flood the people's homes and everything would get wet. All of those sentences are connected to the idea that there was a problem with the Min River. Now the sentences underlined in purple all summarize the main idea or the topic sentence and kind of get us ready for the next thing in the essay. This was a very bad thing for people who lived along the river. Okay, yeah, that was already said. It was a big problem. The author already said this. So some of the people got together and started to think about how they could fix it. Notice how this sentence starts to get us ready for the next paragraph, which was the way that the people fixed the problem of the flooding Min River. Let's look at another paragraph and see how it works. This paragraph here is what we're going to look at. It's the one where Li Bing figures out the problem and how to fix it. So our topic sentence is that Li Bing found out the problem of the flooding river and that it started up in the mountains. All the sentences underlined in green support that idea. The tops of the mountains were very high up in the sky and it was cold. That's an important detail. When it was wintertime, it would get so cold that the tops of the mountains would become covered in snow. Okay, building the idea more. And when springtime came, all the snow would melt. When the snow melts, it turns into water. Great. Now notice the purple sentences underlined in purple are going to summarize what's already been said and get us going for the next paragraph. The problem was that the melted water would fall down the mountains and go into the Min River. This is why it would overflow and flood people's homes. All right. So, to recap, paragraphs start off with a topic sentence that draws the reader in and gives them a general idea of the paragraph. Then the writer writes the body of the paragraph with sentences and details that support the main idea. And finally, the author zooms back out and writes a general statement that summarizes what's been said and gets us ready for the next paragraph. Do you think you're ready for some practice? Good. This is an essay with 4 paragraphs. Your job is to read through it and find the 4 different topic sentences or the places where you would start a new paragraph. On your Google form, you can see how to do this. Right here, you see that it says identify the 4 topic sentences in the text. Then you can read the entire text right here. Okay? Take your time, work through it. When you're ready, check the boxes that you believe are the 4 topic sentences. So there are going to be 4 answers that are correct. A little hint is that the first topic sentence is also the first sentence in the essay. Living things adapt to their environment so they can survive. You're going to look for the new idea that comes up. You'll probably find it somewhere in here. There'll be 4 sentences that you check. Take some time now to complete this activity. When you're finished, don't submit your form because you've got one more exercise. Okay, good. You should only be watching this part now if you've completed the last exercise. This is your final exercise with paragraphing for today. Here you've got a paragraph about Jeju Island. Your job is to put it in the correct order. It's jumbled up. It's not in the correct order. The topic sentence and the first sentence of the paragraph is sentence B. Jeju Island is an amazing place to visit with many beautiful and interesting destinations. So your job now is to find sentences that support that idea and then find sentences that will summarize that idea and transition us into the next paragraph in an essay. Today's lesson is going to take a little bit of time and thought to work through, but it's very important and it's going to help you in your writer's workshop. You can find all the places to answer here on the Google form that's attached to the assignment in the Google Classroom. You can write your answer to this last question right here. When you submit it, you're going to see the correct answers. If you have any questions about the correct answers, you can find me at school, and I'd be happy to help you out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. This is the end of today's episode. We'll see you at school.